Remember when Breath of the Wild was one of the hot topics on YouTube back in 2017? Videos coming out left, right and centre on the daily. Lots of interesting videos were created during this time and lots of unknown and mysterious things were brought to light. One of which was the idea or theory of a fifth divine beast. Now this theory could have more than likely been thought of by anyone who saw this. However, the first big YouTube channel to bring it to the conversation was HMK. Then a few other channels were discussing their theories and thoughts on the matter, but nothing really went far with this topic, as there was more exciting stuff at the time. Now we do know the Zelda team is famous for scrapping things and reusing them later, or in future games, and sometimes leaving small hints within games, etc, etc. Now, from looking at concept art found in the Creating a Champion book, there was definitely more than 4 distinct designs, possibly hinting towards more than 4 divine beasts originally being planned for the game. Now I hear you. The divine beast would need a champion, you idiot. And I fully understand that, and in this video I'm going to go into what could have been a lost dungeon that never made it into the final game. We will be looking into multiple possibilities, some of my own, some of others, and ultimately try and figure out what the story behind this was. Anyway, enough rambling and into the video. Deep breaths. Alright, we got a lot to go through. Like, seriously, this video is probably the one that I've made the most notes for, done the most research for, and also been the most excited for to get out. So, as said in the intro, we'll look into all the relative possibilities, from HMK's theory to possibly being scrapped, and my own thoughts. Firstly, to get to the bottom of this, let's start with HMK's theory. To recap his theory in short, he proposed that this divine beast looking model found in the Hayteno Engine Tech Lab was either themed off a whale or some sort of flying creature, perhaps a leviathan. Due to the location being directly next to the sea with multiple bays and beaches, it very well could have been a 5th divine beast planned to travel out of Hyrule. Now, he did mention that perhaps it could have been for the Champion's Ballad, as not much was known about the DLC then, other than it would have a dungeon and a few other details. Long story short, this wasn't the case for the DLC, so that knocks that idea out. However, he might not have been wrong about it being a divine beast, but perhaps just an unused one that the developers threw in a small model of as a bit of an Easter egg, and will go on to use either elements from the dungeon or the dungeon itself in a future title. This is a common practice for the Zelda team. An example? A lot of the Zelda era content from Ocarina of Time that was never used ended up getting used in future installments up to as late as Skyward Sword. Similar stuff happened in Wind Waker with unused or unfinished work. So could there very well have been a 5th divine beast located by Hayteno Village? Well, there's a few missing factors to making this anywhere near possible, so let's look at them. Firstly, the divine beast would need a champion, a boss, and an ability to pass on to Link. There is some evidence to make this possible. Firstly, a champion. The 4 divine beasts we see all have a champion from a different race: Mipha, Urbosa, Daruk, and Revali, covering the Zora, Gerudo, Gorons, and Rito. Now, Link is the Hylian champion, so that eliminates them too. There is now 2 possible options, the Korok and Sheikah. Now, the Koroks. I honestly have no idea how this would even come about, or why it would be over there in the first place. The Sheikah though. Oh boy, this could make sense, spanning back to the days of the Sheikah developing technology. Yeah, back in the days before Calamity Ganon struck. Firstly, it's right next to a tech lab, controlled and run by who? Sheikah. Who made the divine beasts years ago? Sheikah. Who did a lot of experimenting and tests with different creations? Sheikah. Who has a key figure in a race with a younger descendant to follow one day? The Sheikah. The key figure being Impa, and her younger descendant being Paya. Just like the other 4 races, they all have a key figure and then a younger descendant, and they don't even have to be related, mind you. I mean, these two are, but... Anyway, could this have been a project of some sorts created by the Sheikah way back in the day that was maybe never finished? Perhaps after the original 4 Divine Beasts were created, or maybe before? We know Breath of the Wild was delayed several times, so what are the chances this could have been a cut dungeon from the game that wasn't close enough to being finished, but had a story ready to go, and since they had already delayed the release of the game on multiple occasions, they just threw in the model as an Easter egg. If you didn't know, there is several other things that got cut from the final game. IG Alnuma himself even stated that a hookshot of some sorts was trying to be worked in, but it wasn't really getting there. The Sheikah were a highly advanced civilization, creating unimaginable creations to the point where it threatened the royal family, hence why there is exiled Sheikah, now known as the Yiga. However, the Sheikah that worked with the royal family continued to develop amazing technology, including the Divine Beasts. We know for one that Pura loved to experiment with the technology, and unfortunately, one of her experiments went against her. But could she have possibly been working on this Divine Beast? She is also related to Impa and Paya, making the chances even more possible if Impa was to be the champion of the Sheikah. There is nothing to say this couldn't have been a plan during development that, in the end, was lost. In all honesty, this entire idea of a 5th Divine Beast could have been cut, all because of a time restraint for developing. Now, what could a boss be for this dungeon? Well, I have an idea that could make a lot of sense. We know the Sheikah experimented with all sorts, machines, tools, and in this case, enemies. At least they are now enemies under the control of Calamity Ganon. Now perhaps Pura didn't make enemies, but maybe Sheikah associated with this project made enemies, and tested them there too by the Divine Beast. Maybe water-based Sheikah Guardians, or something along those lines. After all, there is none in the game. We only have on the ground or in the air. There is also the possibility of underwater exploration that could have tied into this. It's not the strongest point, but there was a seabed developed and slight word it may have been a thing. I mean, look at this concept art for one. Either way, I believe a boss for the dungeon could have potentially been some sort of creation of the Sheikah that was being tested out in the bay, and of course would have been taken over by Calamity Ganon. The story behind entry of the dungeon could have been that the beast was creating waves, or splashing too much? And Link is asked to investigate by Pura. Then, after going to the terminals, the dungeon goes beneath the waves, and you battle against a malice-controlled, underwater form of Sheikah weapon. A boss here is kind of a stab in the dark, give me a break. Regardless, it could have been a possible plan of the developers, only one real key factor is missing now. A champion's ability to pass on to Link. Now, this would obviously be a trait, skill, or ability of Impa that she could pass down to Link. I mean, she can remember a lot, I guess. Well, the Sheikah are incredibly stealthy, and the Sheikah defects, the Yiga clan, seem to be able to vanish into thin air, and then appear again seconds later. Every trait the Yiga possesses originates from the Sheikah, so maybe Link could be granted either temporary invisibility, or the ability to vanish and reappear nearby. That would be really good for combat too. Imagine, you're about to be slaughtered by a Lionel, and you have Impa's Fade. Yes, I'm dubbing it Impa's Fade. And you vanish, and then appear behind the Lionel. It's not a bad idea if I say so myself. To sort of conclude all of that, we basically looked at HMK's original idea of it being a DLC dungeon, which ultimately wasn't the case, so we thought about it from a different view and looked more into it in ways himself and others didn't. Not to say his or anyone else's ideas or theories were bad, I really loved them actually. After all, the topic itself just interested me so much that the fact that nothing more came from it, I just had to dive into it and see what was there. The possible connection to the Sheikah would appear the most likely if what I imagined was to be true, and if you follow the format of having champions with descendants from a race, then it's not a bad match. In all honesty, this 5th dungeon that wasn't to be could all just be overthinking everything. But that's the beauty of this, overthinking and overanalyzing our favourite games and just having fun. By all means, this could have just been some sort of aquatic machinery to sail the waters in. Who knows, the Sheikah were some pretty damn crazy people back then when it came to their intelligence. The theory or idea of a lost dungeon is just in my best perspective after hearing about the idea. I would love to hear what all of you believe this model found in the Hiteno Ancient Tech Lab is. And hey, maybe in a future game linked to Breath of the Wild, we might find out. But wait, what if... Oh no. Oh no. Hester could have been a champion. What if I was wrong this entire time and it belonged to the Koroks and Hester ruled that beast doing his naked dance around the place? Oh no, what would the ability be? Naked Linky? Well, thanks for making it to the end of the video, everyone. I've been trying to look at video ideas with different perspectives and putting more originality in them. More me. I hope you enjoyed this one. I know I really did. I don't say it enough on videos, but thank you. To everyone who watches my videos, has subscribed to the channel, has supported me and my passion for The Legend of Zelda for however long. Whether it be the entire 3 years or 1 week, I really appreciate it and don't plan on stopping anytime soon. You have no idea how much it means to me that so many people would support a smaller channel like me, or any other smaller channels, and I'm sure you hear it a lot, but it's really important to support the smaller channels that you love. It's hard to grow from the ground up, and it really means a lot to me. Thank you. If you didn't know, we have a Discord server, so be sure to join. Again, I really hope you enjoyed, and until the next time, I've been Hyrule Gamer.